What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And on today's episode, we got to get into the Bulls' upcoming game against the Toronto Raptors, which will see the return of Patrick Williams. We've already talked about the announcement that he'll be returning, but we'll break down exactly what that could mean for him and this team on today's episode. We'll also be talking about the Bulls' last week of going winless in a week, and we'll be breaking down some more things. Let's get into all that right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central.
All right, Bulls fans. So first of all, let me just say, I did miss you guys. I know I dropped a video yesterday, a fairly quick one, but I did miss you guys over the course of the weekend. And so, the Suns game, I didn't really get to talk a lot on in Bulls winless week overall. Shout out to Ricky Fontaine again for holding down the chat. What I will say this, in the Suns game, the fact that we got lowest output from DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine in a game in which they both are under 20 points, that's always going to be a difficult game for the Chicago Bulls, on top of the other things in the defensive lapses. But one thing that we definitely saw, and that was key, is that we did see the Phoenix Suns just defensively be prepared on the level that the Chicago Bulls were not. And, we continue to see that. I get it. Some people are saying it's not the coaching staff. Some people are very against the coaching staff. I fall in the middle. Some of this blame does lie on the players as well. Some of it does lie on the coaching staff. We're seeing a combination of a few things really contributing to what the Bulls are going through. You have some also skies falling Bulls fans, some Bulls fans that are saying now, if the Bulls would have made a trade, there's no singular player that the Bulls could have traded for. I don't care who it is. They could have fixed the issues that we're seeing with the Chicago Bulls right now. It just wouldn't have happened. Even if you could bring in a better defensive center, then offensively, we're missing some things, and especially with the ones that were available that maybe not be the passers that Vooch is, that completely does change the way that the Chicago Bulls can be guarded. It actually, for those that are talking about like big man that the Bulls should have went after, is that a lot of those players would have made it easier to go to double down on DeMar, because the spacing on the floor would have shrunk down even more. I do think, and looking at Patrick Williams returning in this Toronto game, not a lot to lay on Patrick Williams. Like some people are wanting to see big scoring outputs and stuff like that from Patrick. I'm not there. I want to see solid gameplay from Patrick Williams. I want to see how he's going to contribute to this team, the place that he's going to have on this team now defensively. We know he's going to at least initially become starting coming off the bench. And we'll see how soon or if he moves back into that starting lineup. But I want to see that defensive intensity from Patrick Williams, and the way that he was moving. It doesn't seem like there's a lot physically that'll hamper him there. Now, one thing that will be said is that being in shape and game shape are very different. As we even saw with Alex Caruso's return, him saying that he was winded in that second half. We'll probably see some things like that from Patrick Williams for a while. Keep in mind, Patrick Williams has been out for most of the season. He played in 4 games, 5 games this season, 4.5 games really. So we'll see what happens with Patrick Williams and what he can give. But this week from the Chicago Bulls, looking at this week ahead, the Chicago Bulls have 4 games going on this week. That is 4. And they don't get easy, right? They're not easy games for the Chicago Bulls. It's not games that can be cakewalks. Even this Toronto Raptors game, even though it's a team that we've beaten 2 out of the 3 times that we've played them, and all those games were close to a degree, and especially down the stretch. We need to see the Chicago Bulls give effort, focus, intensity on both sides of the ball. This should be a broken record at this point. We know what we need to see from this Bulls team, and I hope that we do see it for once. But this week from the Chicago Bulls, we got Toronto, Milwaukee, New Orleans, which the New Orleans should be a cakewalk in a degree, right? Let's hope. But again, with the way that this Bulls team plays at times, we can't overlook anybody. And then we end the week Saturday against Cleveland before going right back to playing New York and Washington on Monday and Tuesday of the following week. We have 12 games left this season. 12 games to get Patrick Williams back in gear, to see what's going on with Lonzo Ball if he comes back this season. You guys should watch my video I uploaded yesterday about my speculation that we may not see Lonzo Ball again for the rest of the season. But hey, I hope to be wrong there. But we got 12 games to not just tune up Patrick Williams and get him ready for the playoffs, to get this team and the ship corrected. And I trust that this team has the ability to do that. I know some fans are completely skies falling Bulls fans. The sky's falling out, right? They're not even skies falling Bulls fans anymore. They're over the shit. And I understand it's frustrating to see your team have a winless record in a week. I understand that. It's definitely hard, and I definitely, can understand and sympathize with them. But at the end of the day, this Bulls team still has a lot of talent. They need to get their shit together. And for Bulls fans, I think I started talking about that a little bit, that, the Bulls should have made a trade. They didn't make a trade. That's why we're seeing it. No, pay attention to basketball. What's going on right now, there's not one player that the Bulls could have traded for that would have really changed that much. with that being said, we know I've talked about it very heavily, what this team can do in the offseason, how they can improve in the offseason. We'll get into more details of that when the offseason comes. Somebody asked as well, what do I have planned for offseason content? It's coming. I tell you, what I have planned for the offseason, at least so far initially, is going to be really fun, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. It's going to be my first full offseason covering the Chicago Bulls. This channel started with the Lonzo Ball signing, basically. I think I dropped a couple of episodes before then, but that's really when around the time that we started is when free agency was kicking in. And so I wasn't even around for the draft last year when the Bulls drafted Io. So, having a full offseason, I'm really looking forward to as well. If you got any ideas, anything that you like to see covered as far as going in detail in some of the players that the Bulls may go after, all those things are planned, but let me know what you think about that down below. But to get back into this week for the Chicago Bulls, we need to see a big week from the Chicago Bulls. I'm not going to get into wins. I'm not going to get into loss numbers. I'm not going to get into any of that. The effort is the key thing for me. I want to see a better effort from this team. The effort was not there last week. And I know some people are going to disagree with that, but it was there in spurts. I mean, throughout the full game. And I understand Zach's hurt. We'll see what we get from Zach night in and night out. We do have a back-to-back coming up today and tomorrow, the back-to-back with Toronto and Milwaukee, which is going to be tough. We then get a couple of days break before we face New Orleans on Thursday, but this team has to get their stuff together. And overall, I'm looking, especially since Patrick Williams is coming back, maybe a new energy to come to the team, and not just due to Patrick Williams. I'm just saying when you get players back, especially players that have been out so long, typically teams get really, really excited about that, right? And you see them come out with a new type of energy. That on top of like what happened, and I know Michael Singletary coming in the Bulls locker room to talk to the Bulls. I don't give a damn about any that. All sounds good. It looks good on paper, and it's one of those things that it seems rah-rah, but we need to see the effort that actually matches that. If we don't see that, I don't give two flying fucks what happens. I want to see effort from this team. I know there are some Bulls fans that are worried, concerned. What is the chances that this Bulls team may not even make the playoffs? There are some people going that far. I don't worry about that. I'm not necessarily as worried of that being a possibility, but I am worried overall with just a lot of things going on with this team and what that looks like in playoff basketball, what it looks like to not have the adjustments that we're just seeing the Bulls coaching staff not make defensively for this team. Those type of things. But having a big body back in Patrick Williams, another player who can guard the wing and guard bigs, it's gonna hopefully help kick that in some. I can't wait to see him get back in the starting lineup, and I hope he does eventually work himself back into that. But it is what it is. At this point in time, the Bulls need to have a big week. They need to have a better week. I want to see a better output from the bench overall, bringing a player like Patrick Williams into the bench. And for those that say like me, I don't expect much offensively from Patrick Williams. But for anyone who is saying, hey, we want to see Patrick Williams get in the offensive groove, him coming off the bench may allow for a better chance of him because he's not going to get a lot of shots, and I still don't think he's going to get a lot of offense called for him generally. But with that being said, being on that bench and coming off like that, that would be a really big chance and an opportunity for Patrick Williams to probably get some offensive reps that he wouldn't get otherwise. And so we'll see what happens with that. What this Bulls team, how they use Patrick Williams is going to be really key as well. What do those minutes look like initially? Does he play? I had said before, I expected Alex Caruso when he came back to maybe be stuck on a 12 to 15 minute rotation. He came in night one playing, I think it was 20. It was like 19 or 20 minutes. What does that mean for Patrick Williams? What type of minutes are we going to see from him? But overall, outside of that, Ayo Dosunmu, who I am now expecting to probably be our starting point guard for the rest of the season. Again, you guys, if you saw my last video, right now, and it may be just the pessimism in me, I'm fearful that Lonzo isn't going to return, and fearful in just the sense that we're not going to see him. Not fearful in like long term with his career or anything. At the end of the day, he needs to get back healthy, and that is what's most important for this Bulls team. But with all that being said, really to see what Ayo do the Bulls. Does Patrick Williams eventually get the Bulls enough where they maybe bring Alex Caruso into the starting lineup, and then we see that chemistry between Ayo and Kobe, which some of their best basketball, both of them played on both sides of the ball, were when they were coming off the bench together and in their minutes played together. So, maybe the Bulls look to bring that back. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think Alex Caruso should take over as starting point guard at some point, especially heading into the playoffs with a rookie point guard if Lonzo isn't back? Again, that's just a speculation thing, not anything that's necessarily been reported or anything like that. That's just some thoughts that came to my mind. I want to see better output from Zach. Can we get aggressive Zach again? But with that being said, a back-to-back coming up and a back-to-back against Milwaukee tomorrow. So do they maybe limit Zach LaVine's minutes? Can Zach be aggressive? And if he is aggressive, does that turn around and affect him tomorrow's night game against the Milwaukee Bucks? It's so many questions with this team. And, this was the point in time in the season where we thought that a lot of questions should have been answered, right? We should know exactly what we have in the team. We should know about where our seeding is going to be. Everything is so close on the East. Pair that with the fact that the Bulls just haven't been consistent lately. And it seems like teams are figuring their offense out. It's a really, really interesting time in the playoff standings and everything else right now, going on with where the Bulls sit at right now. Key games tonight to look out for the Bulls is Bulls versus Toronto. Charlotte plays New Orleans today. Cleveland plays the Lakers. Miami plays Philly, which those both have. Utah plays the Nets today. All that being said, it leaves a lot of questions up for where the Bulls seeding is going to be. Told you guys I'll be watching seeding a little bit closer as we get closer to 10 games left in the season. We're 2 games away from that. So be on the lookout for seeding watch to probably start at some point with episodes. Not every single episode, but a couple of episodes a week. But yeah. Let me know all your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the week ahead for the Chicago Bulls. How many wins do you think this team can realistically get over the course of this next week? How many wins do you hope they get? And what do you think and how the Bulls are going to use Patrick Williams upon his return? That's what we'll do. Over or under 20 minutes for Patrick Williams tonight upon his return. Let me know what you guys think down below on that. And if you can guess Patrick Williams' stat line or close to it, maybe we'll do another t-shirt giveaway. But that's it for me for today. Make sure you're following the podcast at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. If you want to leave us an email, you can do so at bullcentralpod@gmail.com. I think I just said, did I not just say that? Anyway, and if you want to leave a text or voicemail, it's 773-270-2799. That's it for me for today, guys. I love you guys. Go Bulls. Game night tonight. Make sure you guys see red, don't be red. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.